No woman wants to be with a broke guy, or does she? With a few adjustments, it's easy to do fine with girls, even when you're broke. In my recent video on limiting beliefs, a reader named Dr. Ben asked, "Hey, Stoicism time tested. Thanks for the video. Very in-depth as always." Now, I have this limiting belief: when I'm broke, I can't get a girl. Since you haven't really written an article on how to get a girl, when broke, can you please address this issue? I find that I'm usually depressed when I'm broke, and I just close off or reject myself, even if a girl likes me. But when I've got cash, I do a whole lot better. Is it a matter of self-esteem? I don't know why this is or what to do to prevent this. Should I just tell girls, "Hey, I'm having a hard time at the moment," or "I'm broke, I can't do X"? What should be our response and behavior towards women when we are broke? I think a lot of guys will appreciate this. Okay, sure. This is something I've talked about a bit in the past. Picking up girls when broke or unemployed, but haven't gone in depth on. It actually is pretty closely related to the limiting beliefs concept too, because a lot of what seems to hold men back from doing well with women when broke are limiting beliefs, like Dr. Ben. One reason I haven't gone as in-depth into this topic before is because there are multiple routes to broke. One is to start out not broke, then end up broke, which was my route there. The other way is to start out broke and just always have been broke. I don't have experience with the second route, though I've known guys who have been that and have done quite well with women. I can talk intelligently about the first route though, and I'll try to make the points there as applicable to the guys who get there via the started broke route as possible too. First off, money does not help you with women unless you are willing to be ostentatious with it. See conspicuous consumption. I always knew this, but a few events in my life crystallized it for me more than anything. After university, I got a well-paying, prestigious job with a great company everyone knows the name of and holds in high esteem. For the first month in my new city, I tried different strategies to benefit off the name of my workplace. I'd mention to every girl I talked to that I worked there, or give girls who were clearly interested in me my business card and tell them to call me or text me. It didn't work, and I soon switched to telling women I was a writer, and discovered they were a lot more flirtatious and interested in me as a writer than me as a guy with a great career. At another point, I was making as much money per month as the average high school graduate makes in a year. I saw no difference in how women reacted to me then, and because I didn't tell people I was making that much, no one actually knew. Once I found myself on an airplane, back in the middle of the economy section, and got to talking to my seatmate. It turned out he was running a multi-million-dollar-a-year business, but he was a nerdy-looking guy, flying economy like me, and he'd met his fiancée via a friend who'd introduced them, because the friend knew he was lonely and available and figured he'd help him meet a girl. Just like me, all the money he had coming in hadn't made a difference helping him meet women any more easily than he had when he didn't have it. At still another point, I was hanging out regularly with guys who were reasonably big spenders. When I'd go with them to nightclubs, they'd buy VIP tables and plenty of alcohol. They had their female and male hangers-on. Maybe you would have classed me as a hanger-on too, since I often didn't spend a cent when I rolled with them. But almost all the people they had around were those they invited out with them, men and women they knew from social circle. I don't think I ever saw one of them pick up a new girl from the club, just like what Alec discussed yesterday. I did know one guy, a former investment banker, who used bottles of champagne to meet girls. but he did it at the bar and spent a lot less money than my VIP table friends did. Then, at yet another point, I was broke, with a net worth tens of thousands of dollars in the red, surviving purely by moving money around on credit cards and trying to get approved for 0% APR balance transfer cards. So I could keep playing the game of musical debt chairs and move one chunk of my debt over before the 0% APR ran out on the old card, at which point I'd start to get hit with $200, $300, or $400 a month interest fees. Yet in spite of my terrible debt and questionable life prospects, I discovered women liked me just the same as at any of those other points. Now, it does seem like at a certain level, money can make a difference. There's a fascinating Reddit post about this, on the differences between men at different levels of wealth. The poster doesn't mention women being all over the place until you reach the $100 plus level. I'm sure there are lesser effects at levels of wealth below 9 figures. But at least when I've hung with multimillionaires, I can tell you, even with a little ostentation, men with mere 7 and 8-figure net worths still do not stand out to women much or at all compared to equivalent but broke men. My approach to dating has always revolved around low or no-cost activities, which has made dating more or less the same for me, whether I was pulling in the big bucks or buried under a mountain of debt. That said, I have always invested in myself, although again, I do so on a budget and do it intelligently. Spend on yourself in a smart way, and you can look 10x better than men paying 20x more, the broke mentality. When I got broke, it made me edgy. I'd already had a great job and good credentials, and at one point, for about a year, I'd lived a somewhat more expensive lifestyle, the only time in my life I did so. Going to nice restaurants several times a week, expensive nightclubs where I'd drink as much as I wanted, and buying nice new clothes I'd often barely wear. So when I found myself out of work, finances drained, with an uncertain future, my mentality with women shifted somewhat. For a long time, I'd seen myself as kind of a really good boyfriend prospect who struggled to get out of the boyfriend zone so he could move fast with girls. Once I was broke, though, I was now Aladdin. I was the diamond in the rough. I knew I was great, but the world was no longer rewarding me with money, and my future was unclear. Diamond, meet rough. This liberated me with women. I could be my usual, awesome self, but suddenly I was not a boyfriend prospect anymore, and all the sexual value I'd worked to build up in myself came to the fore. Suddenly, it all just got easier. There was no risk a girl might think, well, I'd better slow game him so I get him as a boyfriend. I was broke and unemployed. No woman wanted me in that role. But I was sexy, charming, good at touching women, good at making them laugh, and good at getting them invested very quickly. If I was at all concerned about value, I could name drop my former employer. I used to work for X, but now I'm unemployed. And a girl was able to say to herself, oh, okay, he's not a complete deadbeat, only a partial deadbeat. But usually, I didn't even feel the need to say that. Just, I'm unemployed was enough. The cool thing I discovered about I'm unemployed is it instantly destroys the what do you do question. What do you do? Attempts to define you. I am X, you tell her. And now she's already begun the work to put you into this or that box in her head. I'm unemployed doesn't tell her what you do at all. She doesn't know if you were a factory worker or a CEO before, just that whatever it was, you aren't doing it now. She doesn't know if you've been unemployed for for 5 years or a day, just that you are right now. She doesn't know if you've got $1 million saved up or you've got creditors breathing down your neck. She doesn't know anything, and that makes you a mystery. One of the girlfriends I took while broke called me Bond Guy because I still traveled a fair bit. You can absolutely travel and spend little money. A little time traveling while broke will teach you how to do this, and seemed like something of a mystery to her. A classy, sexy, well-dressed guy who was out of work and traveled often. We'll talk about that, your vibe and image while broke, in just a moment. However, I want to stress, if you're a reasonably valuable, sexy guy, being broke can liberate you with women. It makes the choice for women easy. Instead of wondering if you might make a good boyfriend and trying to put the brakes on, it's just, well, he's not a boyfriend. So do I want to sleep with him or not? If you can make her decide, yes, sleep with him, she's yours. Picking up girls when you're broke. You don't need money for any of the conventional ways you can meet girls. Day game is free. It costs nothing to stop women on the street or the street corner, or in a shop, or waiting for a bus/train and strike up a conversation. Bars and nightclubs are cheap or free too. If you'll go to a place often, you should spend some money to not be a mooch. But here's the secret. Get a cola or a tonic water with lime, no alcohol, and tip the bartender a couple bucks each time. Sure, you're paying way less overall than all the other patrons, but the bartender makes $2 or $3 each time you order something from him, while he usually makes only $1 per drink from the vast majority of other patrons. You can also go to your regular venues on off nights and befriend the staff, or go early and do that. For details on that, check out my article on how to get past the bouncer and skip down to the Know Someone section. If you're well known to and liked by the staff, and you always tip the bartender generously, despite not spending much on the drink itself, you'll be a welcome patron. And no one's going to care you don't spend much money. Even if you eventually end up talking to the owner or manager at some point, if he knows the rest of his staff like you a lot, he won't care much that you aren't a big spender. And of course, if you're just going somewhere for the first time, or you don't plan to visit the venue anytime soon, you shouldn't feel any pressure to spend money there at all. The only reason to do so is to build those relationships with the staff. If you won't be a regular there, what's the point? For nightclubs with cover charges, don't pay this. $1.20 to enter a club when you're broke is a terrible deal. The clubs that charge a cover are rarely the best place to meet girls at, and there's usually a way around the cover too. Ask the folks at the front door for whom to talk to get on the list next time, or if there are any promoters they can point you to, and connect with those folks. Then don't enter the club, go somewhere without a cover, and you can go to the cover charge place next week once you're on the list, or have talked to the promoter and enter without paying. For girls you meet during the daytime, you can do Insta dates to the park, or go to the local Starbucks and simply grab a table and talk. You can even bring your own thermos with you with water or tea or hot chocolate and pull it out there. Starbucks has a rule called the third place policy. It follows now that means it can't kick out non-customers. Don't feel like you're mooching if you do this either. Starbucks very consciously backed itself into the "we are now a public commons" corner by bowing to public pressure. That's the company's own doing. You can tell girls as much if they feel awkward not having bought anything, And hey, it's good to break the rules with women now and again, too. When it's date time, plan a date to the local sites or take her window shopping at a mall and maybe spring for ice creams. You can get some real cheap ice cream cones at McDonald's or KFC. Or plan a date to a dive bar, but have her pre-game at your place. She'll get comfortable at your place, having a drink there first. Then you'll bounce to the dive bar and have a cheap drink or two there. Then back to your place for more booze before you both fall into bed together. I learned this date structure from my dive bar natural friend. Keeps your costs down and makes getting the girl back to your place for drinks and sex after the dive bar easy, since she's already been there drinking earlier. Anytime I hear a guy complain he can't get girls because he's broke, the first thing I think is, my friend, you lack imagination. There's a lot for girls to be smitten about with you, even if you come up a tad short on material wealth. It doesn't cost much money, or any, to pick up women. It doesn't cost much money to craft a classy, attractive image for yourself. It doesn't cost much money to have a grungy room with a bed somewhere in town. And often, that's really all you need. It doesn't cost much money, or any, to take a girl on a date. And it can even make it easier not having money, especially if you're sexy, but sometimes come across like a boyfriend candidate. Being broke removes you from boyfriend contention, and if you have enough lover value, she knows exactly which box you go into. I could never date this guy, but he'd be fun to hook up with. If your lover value isn't that strong yet, work on it. Turn yourself into a lover. It makes being broke a lot of fun. I haven't been broke in years. I'm pretty comfortable financially these days. Usually, I will still say I'm a writer, since I am. Telling women I'm a business owner wins me no points. But sometimes, for the heck of it, I will just tell girls I'm unemployed, which technically I am. When you're the employer yourself, does it really make sense to claim you are employed? I don't look like I'm broke. But then again, I didn't look like I was broke when I was broke either. And I think, no matter where life takes me, I'll most likely continue to present myself as just another guy, maybe with a little past success under his belt. Since I'm older now, once you start to reach my age, women begin to expect some past successes. I don't see much sexual upside from presenting yourself as financially stable or moderately, that is, not fabulously, wealthy. Just haven't ever seen it. Yet, there's a whole lot of upside to capture in my rather wide-ranging experience when you are, or frame yourself as, broke. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this. And if you've made it this far, drop a comment below with the word 2024 so I know you're still with me. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.